I'm sorry, just me. Let's talk about sex, baby. It's teaching time, bitches. Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. It is your girl, Dutchy. Who's ready to talk about sex, baby? Hello, sex education chat. We are here, we are in her. The video you have all been asking for ages is finally here. But before we get into it, I want to formally apologize for the lighting. The clouds are being mad rowdy today and it's really not helping the whole lighting situation. So I apologize in advance for that one. But other than that, yes, hi, hey, hello, we're here. Welcome everyone. We are going all out today on this sex education video. It has recently come to my attention that a lot of you have not received any sex education stats, like not even the basic heterosexual bullshit. Like you have not received any. So I guess I'll step up, you're all welcome, and teach you guys about sex because it's not a foreign topic. It's not something that we should be uncomfortable speaking about with our family members and friends. It's normal, a lot of people have it, and we should be learning about how to do this in a safe and healthy manner. Don't you think? So in today's video, I'm going to be covering absolutely everything there is to know regarding sex, with queer sex education being the primary focus of this video because let's face it, queer sex education is completely non-existent within our educational institutions. However, as mentioned previously, I am also aware that some schools fail to teach even the most basic of heterosexual sex education. So this video is not just for my LGBTQ+ fam, this is for anyone and everyone who never learnt sex ed, who does not know anything about consent, safe sex, healthy sex, positions, protection, all of that good stuff. I'm going to be talking about and educating you as much as possible from my position, the knowledge I've gained through university and just my own life. So with all of that being said, strap yourselves in, metaphorically and literally, if that's what you're into, and let's talk about sex, baby. Okay, consent. Before we get into the specifics of today's video, I really wanted to touch on consent. I actually do have a full-length video on consent on my channel that covers how to give consent, what consent looks like, feels like, sounds like. Pretty much everything there is to know about sexual consent I do have a video on, so I will pop it in the description box if you would like to go and watch it. But for the purposes of today's video, as I am covering everything to do with sex, it is of utmost importance to cover it because consent is key. So for those of you who don't know, in sexual situations specifically, consent is a non-negotiable. And consent is also key to a safe sexual experience. So, what is sexual consent? Sexual consent means that all members involved are actively willing to participate in a particular sexual act or sexual behavior, and they express this consent verbally and explicitly. Whether that be by saying, yes, I'd like to try that, I'd love to do that, let's do it, etc. It is also important to note that not saying no does not mean yes. Alcohol and drugs also affect consent, and I go into that in massive detail in the other video, but I just thought I should mention that as well. Now, just because someone consents to engaging in one kind of sexual behavior does not necessarily mean that they will consent to engaging in another type of sexual behavior. For example, if someone consents to having penis in vagina penetrative sex with you, they may not be okay with having penetrative anal sex with you, or doing 69, or other differing sexual acts. That's why it's important to check in with whoever you're doing sexual stuff with constantly. Make sure it's always okay for that person and they're always comfortable. Another important one, anyone has the right to change their mind at any given time during sex. This means that even if someone consents to participating in a particular act to begin with, but halfway through they want to cease all activity, you must stop and respect that. There are also laws surrounding age of consent. Children and young people below the age of consent are yet to reach a level of maturity which would enable their safe participation in sexual activities. In most countries, they set a particular age, and they believe anyone below that age has not reached a maturity level that would allow them to make a decision on whether or not they are ready to have sex. For example, in most states of Australia, the age of consent is 16. However, It is 17 in Tasmania and South Australia, I do believe. I also think the legal age of sexual consent differs in America between 15 and 18. So if you are at all unsure of the legal age for where you are at the moment, just a quick Google can help you out with that one. But yes, above all else, consent is key. And honestly, consent is hot. Consent is sexy. Is it not attractive as hell when your crush or your partner or whoever you're seeing asks if they can kiss you, asks you if they can touch you, like they're polite about it, or asks if they can fuck you? Sorry, I'm sorry, just me. I don't know. Okay, so with consent covered, let's move on into our next stage of the protection section. Protection is super duper important to prevent ourselves from contracting unwanted STIs, STDs, and of course, pregnancy. And yes, there is protection out there for anyone having sex. There are condoms for penises, condoms for vulvas, there's a dental dam, the contraceptive ring, the IUD, the pill, the rod, the contraceptive injection, and the diaphragm. No matter who you are having sex with, it is important to go and get checked for STIs by visiting your doctor. You can just do a simple urine test, and that basically reveals whether or not you have an STI in your system from past sexual experiences or other factors. And before you ask, yes, if you are having sex with someone who cannot impregnate you, it is still of utmost importance to protect yourself. If you are having sex, it is possible that you are spreading or contracting STIs. So yes, you should use protection. Again, and I get this question a lot about lesbian sex. If you have a vulva and you are having sex with another person with a vulva, yes, you can still spread or contract STIs. If you have a penis and you're having sex with another person with a penis, yes, you should use protection. Also, I would like to note that using protection does not have to be exclusive to penetrative sex. In fact, barrier methods can and are encouraged to be used with things such as oral sex. However, if you are dating someone seriously, you have been for a while and you're on the pill to stop yourself from getting pregnant, and you're both free from any STIs or STDs, and obviously not having sex with anyone else, it is completely up to you. It is subjective, but in that case, like, you should be fine to have unprotected sex. Again, completely up to you. It's a conversation that you have to have between you and your partner. But do keep in mind and know that the pill is not 100% effective, and some people who are on the pill still use another barrier method just in case, just to be safe. Okay, so we've covered consent and protection. So now let's get on into the nitty-gritty of sex. Sex, what is it? What does it look like? And what does it mean for different people? Google defines sex as any sexual activity, specifically sexual intercourse. Which, yeah, is great because it doesn't mention gender. A lot of the others are like penetrative sex between a man and a woman, and it's like, no, that ain't sex, boo. So basically, sex can be had alone or with two or more people, and that can look and feel like and sound like many things. Sex is not just penis in vagina penetration. No, no, absolutely not. Sex can be kissing, touching, oral, toy play, teasing, mutual masturbation, massages, sensual massages. Sex is complex. There are so many different ways to have sex. And no, it does not always involve penetration. With that being said, it's finally time to answer some of your questions, and oh my goodness me, there were a lot. It's teaching time, bitches! Let's get it. First and most common question, does the first time hurt? Okay, common misconception, no, it should not hurt. I know it's something that we're taught a lot, or like growing up, parents might even say it, siblings might say to you, yeah, the first time can hurt a bit. There's people that say, yeah, I bled through the sheets and like all of this stuff. Don't get me wrong, that can happen. It can hurt, but it should not hurt. Yeah, your first time can be a little bit uncomfortable. It's foreign to you, especially if you're not like self-pleasuring or masturbating before it or fingering yourself or anything like that. Penetrative, something in vagina sex, yes, it can be uncomfortable. No, it should not hurt. Okay, let's just get one thing straight here as well. I've been seeing a lot of dialogue about this on TikTok, a lot of people speaking up about it. There is no such thing as tight, okay? There are muscles down there and they relax when you are aroused, when you want to have sex, when you're comfortable with someone, all that good stuff. You can be smaller, that's totally a thing. You can be smaller than others, like that all varies. No two vulvas, vaginas, penises, whatever are alike. That's the thing. You can be smaller. Tight has much more to do with who you're having sex with, whether you're attracted to them, fully turned on, fully relaxed with them, than anything else. So your first time, you may not know how to relax properly. You're anticipating something that you've never experienced or felt before. So yes, it can feel a bit uncomfortable, a bit different, but it shouldn't hurt. I would honestly suggest for your first time getting some lube, having some lube handy, doing it somewhere you feel very safe and comfortable. Also, don't do it until you're 100% comfortable. And even then, it's okay to be nervous and feel weird about it, because your first time can be a big deal for some people, and it's totally normal to feel that way. Should you get tested before your first time? I don't think that's necessary, as long as both of you, like, it really is both of your first time. I wouldn't imagine so. How do you stay safe from pregnancy and STDs? Yeah, so this is a barrier method protection. So you would use a condom, a female condom, whatever it is, for who you are and who you're having sex with. The pill or IUD, any of the protection methods I mentioned earlier. However, some of these protection methods work better for others. For example, some women can't be on the pill, some women can't have an IUD. So that's just a matter of going to your doctor and seeking out the right contraceptive method for you, whether that be like condoms and anything like a barrier method is always going to be your best method for preventing STIs and STDs. But yeah, in terms of pregnancy, you can double up by going on the pill or having an IUD inserted or the rod or all those sorts of things. By the way, I will leave helpful like health links to all of these topics as well. If you want any further information, because obviously I'm not like a medical professional or anything. I don't know absolutely everything. This is all subjective and just what I've learned through schooling and uni. But yeah, I will leave proper links to everything, the different protection methods, consent, all those sorts of things. Why do you have to pee after sex? So peeing after sex is important to flush out the bacteria so that we don't end up with a UTI. It's not a given, like you can still pee after sex and get a UTI, like it's not guaranteed. It just helps prevent it, and it is especially helpful for women or people who are prone to getting UTIs. But at the same time, if you're super duper prone, you may end up with one anyway. However, peeing after sex does not prevent pregnancy or STIs, only UTIs. Let's get that straight. How do you use protection during lesbian sex? Again, the female condom, there's dental dams, you can use gloves if you're using toys, and like fingering and stuff if you want to be super duper careful. It's pretty much the same, like there's not really any difference. I guess we just aren't really taught about the female condom or dental dams. Dental dams, from experience, can be really hard to get as well. I think some pharmacies sell them, and you can actually get them from your doctor, and if not, online. Online always has them. But yeah, for some lame reason, they're not as readily available. And as well as using barrier protection methods and things like that, also get yourself tested regularly, all that good stuff. And actually the next question was, can women loving women still contract STIs from having sex with other women? And why do you still need to use protection with a girl? But yes, anyone having sex can still transmit and contract STIs. Strap-on tips. Here's my list. I literally wrote out a list of tips that I wish I had before I used a strap-on. So here we go. I'm just gonna read from my computer for a hot minute. Number 1, wear it before using on someone, for God's sake. If you have a strap-on, use it, wear it around the house. Depending on who you live with, just flop it out, wear it, okay? Get used to it, get used to the feeling on you and the weight of it, because it's an external thing that you've never had before. It's an external moment. Watch videos of other people using them. Yes, that means porn. And if you're not using porn, there are plenty of family-friendly videos on YouTube of girls showing how they use them, fully clothed. Yeah. Believe you me. Now this may seem like a given, but use your hands to control it. Yes, we can get a bit carried away, but using your hands to control it makes it so much easier. Try strap-friendly positions. You can Google these. I don't need to tell you which ones, but try positions that are gonna make it easier on the both of you. Don't worry about what you look like. Or do, if you love it and you love how you look and that's like a confidence boost, get that mirror and put it beside you. But if not, don't worry about your appearance. Practice thrusting into your pillows. Who said that? Who said that? And above all else, it's totally okay to experiment with penetration. And there are so many other hot and fun and sexy things you can do with the strap-on. Like, it doesn't just have to be that. Be creative. Be experimental. Also, I do remember someone asking about different harnesses and briefs, so I will leave a link to that because I don't actually know about all of them. I've only used one ever. Yeah. I got a lot of these. How does lesbian sex work? And what is the difference between foreplay and lesbian sex? Very interesting question. So basically I see, and I think most people see, foreplay as the warm up to sex, okay? It's the warm up, it's the fun, it's the anticipation, the lead up, all of that. Also, I didn't touch on this, but foreplay is a very, very important part of sex. And I guess that's been asked by you guys, but yes, never skip foreplay. Foreplay can also come in the form of a lot of different things. Like, it's not always just physical. It can actually come in the form of like flirty calls, flirty text messages, in anticipation, kissing, teasing, flirting, light touching, grabbing, grazing, making out, taking clothes off. Like, I've probably missed some. Foreplay can be a lot of things, and it can be very different for different people as well. I guess it's just whatever leads up to the more intense sexual activities that you're about to partake in. It's just like the light version of it. And as for the difference between foreplay and lesbian sex, I would say it's the same as anyone else having sex. It's just like the warm-up stage. So it's all that stuff that I just mentioned before, doing more, I guess. As for how lesbian sex works, it works like anyone else having any other sex. Sex is sex. It's just like two or more people sharing an intimate moment, getting jiggy with it. But if you're asking for what lesbian sex looks like, or types of positions, I'll pop a few of my faves on the screen here. I don't actually know what I'm popping on here yet, but hey, here you go. There you have it. If we're both virgins, is there any risk of STIs? No, I wouldn't imagine so, but at the same time, I don't want to say no and then you go out and have sex with another virgin, and then one of you contracts an STI, because you can actually contract STIs from non-sexual experiences. I know, I had no idea. Maybe some of you did. But there are in fact other ways. Like, I think mosquitoes was one of them. You can get them from mosquito bites. There are ways to contract and have them without having sex, without ever having your first time. So I would say no, purely from not having sex with anyone, but through other circumstances and factors, maybe. If you want to be sure, get yourself tested. There's no harm in it. Is masturbation a type of sex? Yeah, hell yeah. It's a form of sexual activity, a little bit of me time. Yeah, 100%. How does female masturbation work? Female masturbation works like any other masturbation. It's just you time, exploring yourself. That looks different for everyone. Some people use toys, some people use manual stimulation with your own hands, some people love playing with their clit, some people like penetration, some people like both. It's so subjective, it's different for everyone. And it's normal. Let's normalize female masturbation, please. Yeah. How do you politely tell a person no, especially if you don't feel comfortable? Okay, all you have to say is no. No should be enough. And if it's not enough, don't be polite about it. This is your body, your choice, your mind. And if you don't want to go through with something, you don't want to do anything, say no and be forceful with it. How to get over initial nerves due to fear of touch. Okay, my advice would be relax, and I know that's a lot easier said than done. Only be with someone when you're 100% ready and 100% comfortable. If you are at that stage and you're still feeling a bit fearful, know that it's totally okay to feel nervous and a bit uneasy about someone else touching you. It's so normal. And then even after all that, if you're with someone and it still makes you feel super duper uncomfortable and fearful, then maybe it's not for you, and that's perfectly okay. Is it bad to want threesomes? No, I don't think it's bad. I think it's a personal preference. It's a personal curiosity. It doesn't mean anything. It just means you want to explore your sexuality, and I love that, and there's nothing wrong with that. Can having long nails when fingering a girl make them bleed inside? Yes, it can. I think it's always important to, if you have longer nails, so you don't have to have like the shortest of nails to finger a girl, okay? But just making sure that they're like smooth, and like maybe getting a file a day before and like filing down any rough bits will go a long way. But like, I always preferred, like I always had my nails cut really short if I was having sex with a girl, and I would prefer that if they were having sex with me. I don't think I'd like a girl with long nails fingering me. But yeah, as long as they're neat, tidy, clean, and free from any rough edges, you should be okay. Especially if you have a good technique and stuff, you shouldn't. But yeah, it is possible. Am I still a virgin if I masturbate? Virginity, in my eyes, in my opinion, is a social construct. So I I don't really have anything to say about that. But in your eyes, if you see virginity as like a true and proper thing, I would say yes, you're still a virgin. Masturbating is just finding what you like about yourself for when you eventually do have an intimate moment with someone else, if you do. I wouldn't imagine that that would count as losing your virginity. No. What if I don't feel sexual attraction? That's completely valid. You may or may not be asexual, and that's totally okay. It may be something to look into, or it might just take you some time to become sexually attracted to someone. I don't know how old you are, but it's not something that is like comes at the same age for everyone. Like, it might just take you some more time, or you may be asexual. What is butt stuff? Oh, butt stuff is any anal pleasure. So whether that be like licking, kissing, fingering, penetrating, from toys, from a penis, from a mouth, anything, that is butt stuff. And now we're sunny again. Classic. This weather can't make up its mind. And the sun go, but also stay. Okay, I have like 2 more questions. I want to try butt stuff, but the last time I did, I nearly shat myself. Is there anything I can do to clear myself out? Oh, love that for you. I don't actually know. I don't know if there's anything you can take. Let's have a Google. Let's have a Google. What to take before anal sex. Okay, so this website says you can use an enema, which is something that basically makes you shit everything out. So you can do that, or I think just having, like, I've spoken to a lot of people that have like regular anal sex, and they just make sure, if like, especially in the week leading up to it, if they're going to be doing it, to eat like a very fibrous diet. So be going at least once or twice a day, and just like eating really healthy, not eating anything gross that's going to like make your bowel sluggish. Yeah, that's all the advice I can give on that one. How do I bring up sex naturally in a conversation with someone new? That is a really good question. I think be open and honest. If you're talking to someone new that you think you could potentially be having sex with at some point, I think it's totally okay and normal to have that conversation, just to open up the conversation re-sex, and whether they've had sex before and that sort of thing. It's not an insensitive question or conversation to have, I don't think these days. I think it's totally okay to ask like whether you've had sex before or not. Obviously in the right context, around the right people, or just like when you're alone. Like, but yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with being straightforward with that. And for my last question, I'm going to put a trigger warning: re sexual harassment. So if that triggers you or anything, click off now. Thank you so much for watching. I love you. What do I tell my partner in future that I have been through sexual harassment? Okay, so this is again completely subjective and up to the individual, because I have a few friends and family members that have been through this, and they either disclose it with their next sexual partner or whoever, or they do not. And that is a completely personal choice and up to you. How do you bring it up? I suppose it's very important to do it early, before sexual things start happening. That's honestly totally up to you, and it's hard and it's different for every person. I think it's just having that conversation, being like, look, I like you, I am sexually attracted to you, but some things could be triggering for me. I've had things happen in the past. You don't have to go into complete specifics if that's too much for you or too triggering for you also, or you can tell them everything. It's a personal choice, it's subjective, it's up to you. I think it is important to say that though, so that if anything does happen, they know why, and they can comfort you in whatever you need. Just tell them as much as you want to tell them. That's the advice I have. You don't have to tell them everything. You can just tell them exactly that you have been a victim of sexual harassment in the past, and that some things may be a bit triggering or hard for you, or you can tell them exactly what happened. It's completely up to you. Well, everyone, that was a very good sex education lesson. I hope you all learned a lot. Thank you so much for sending in your questions. This was lots of fun. I honestly hope it helped some of you, answered some of your questions. And if you have any other questions, please pop them down in the comments. I will be responding to as many as I can, and I'm sure other members of the Dutchy fam will help you out as well if they know the answer to it. I love you all so much. If you want a part 2, or you want any specific videos on any sex education or advice, let me know also. And yeah, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it and found it informative. Send it around, share it around, send it to anyone you think needs to hear it. And yeah, I will see you all in my next one. Bye.